Hello students, welcome to this video on Food and Textile Studies for Grade 9. Today's lesson will be on sewing and pressing equipment. Let us look at the learning objectives of this lesson. At the end of this video, you will be able to name the different types of sewing machines available. Identify the parts of an electric sewing machine. Use an electric sewing machine and basic pressing equipment safely. Various sewing equipment are needed to make textile items. In addition to small sewing tools which you have learnt about in grade 7, the sewing machine and the steam iron are also essential tools required to make textile items. The sewing machine. The sewing machine is used for stitching fabrics together. Machine stitching is much quicker than hand stitching. Sewing machines offer a variety of machine stitches that can be used to enhance the appearance of garments and textile products. There are different types of sewing machines available on the market. Some examples are the domestic electric sewing machine, the computerized sewing machine, the overlock sewing machine. Let us learn more on the electric sewing machine. The electric sewing machine is operated by using electricity. It is important to know the different parts of a sewing machine in order to use it properly. Study the picture given. It illustrates the different parts of an electric sewing machine. Remember though, depending upon the make of a sewing machine, some parts of a sewing machine may be positioned differently, but their basic functions remain the same. The electric sewing machine is mainly used for sewing straight machine stitches and zigzag machine stitches. Straight machine stitches resemble back stitches. They are usually used to sew two or more pieces of fabric together, for example, when stitching a seam. Zigzag machine stitches are often used to neaten the raw edges of seams. Let us see now how to use an electric sewing machine. Before you begin to sew, ensure that, firstly, the needle is at its highest position and the presser foot is raised. The electric sewing machine is properly threaded. You may refer to your grade 9 Technology Studies textbook on page 348 to understand the proper technique to thread an electric sewing machine. One important point to remember is that the thread in the bobbin should be of the same color as that in the reel. The stitch length should be adjusted to the correct length. And finally, the threads from the needle and the bobbin case should be pulled behind the presser foot. Now that the sewing machine is ready, we can proceed with the stitching. The first step is to place the fabric pieces under the presser foot, then lower the needle by turning the balance wheel manually in a clockwise direction. And finally, lower the presser foot gently and press the foot pedal slowly to start stitching. Once stitching is completed, lift your foot from the foot pedal. Then, raise the presser foot and ensure that the needle is at its highest position. Next, pull the fabric and the threads gently towards the back and cut a tail of thread of about 10 centimeter. That's it. Now you know how to use an electric sewing machine. While using an electric sewing machine, you need to remember some safety tips. They are: hands should be dry when using the electric sewing machine to avoid electric shock. Fingers should not be too close to the path of the sewing machine needle when sewing. Do not lean too close to the electric sewing machine during stitching. Always switch off the electric sewing machine after use. Let us see about another equipment, namely the steam iron. The steam iron is a pressing equipment. Pressing is applying heat and pressure with a steam iron during the making up of a textile item. It is carried out by lifting and lowering the steam iron on one section of the textile item at a time. The steam iron has a small water tank where water can be filled. When the iron is heated, the water is converted into steam, which is released through the holes found in its sole plate. The steam iron helps to remove wrinkles and creases from fabrics and garments more easily and quickly than when using the dry iron. Pressing is usually carried out using a steam iron, an ironing board, and a pressing cloth. Pressing is done after working of a process to give a neat finish and enhance the appearance of a textile item. Can you name another pressing equipment? While using the steam iron, you need to remember some safety tips. They are: hands should be dry to avoid electric shock. Hands should be kept away from the hot sole plate to avoid burns. The iron should stand vertically on its heel when not in use. The iron should be switched off and left to cool down after use. The water tank should be emptied before storage. Do not use the iron if the cord or plug is damaged, as this could lead to an electric shock. How about we do an activity together? State whether the following statements are true or false. Machine stitching is much quicker than hand stitching. True. Zigzag machine stitches are often used to neaten the raw edges of seams. True. You need to lean close to the electric sewing machine during stitching. False. The iron should stand vertically on its heel when not in use. True. The dry iron removes wrinkles and creases more easily and quickly than steam iron. False. Did you get it right? Very good. Let's do a recap. In today's lesson, you have learned that the sewing machine and the steam iron are also essential equipment needed to make textile items. That there are different types of sewing machine. That the electric sewing machine can be used to make straight machine stitches as well as zigzag machine stitches. You have also learned about the different parts of an electric sewing machine. How to use an electric sewing machine safely. That the steam iron is a pressing equipment. and how to use a steam iron safely. This brings us to the end of our lesson. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for your attention. Until the next one, goodbye.